What is up, everyone? Chris Manning here from the Locked On Cavs podcast. That's my co-pilot, Evan Damerl. On today's show, we're going to get into Cavs Grizzlies, which was a ton of fun. Talk about Dylan Windler and just talk about the return, perhaps most importantly, of one Darius Garland. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Cavs, your daily Cleveland Cavaliers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Two things before we get into it. I want to tell you that today's show is brought to you by TrueBill. TrueBill is the new app that is helping you save money by helping you identify and stop paying for those subscriptions you don't want or you don't need, and can even negotiate better deals on those that you want to keep. And we also want to thank you for making today your first listen. If you want to subscribe, Locked On Cavs is free and available on all platforms. That includes YouTube, where we are free and available on platforms. Evan, I realized I forgot something. Just gotta complete the look here. Congratulations to the Ohio Bobcats for beating the Akron Zips on Tuesday night. Holding it down for me here on the show. We love to see it. Congrats, Jeff Bowles, 100 career wins with his alma mater. You love to see it. You truly love to see it.
It's okay. Moorhead's going to blast you guys into oblivion in football.
You think I care about Ohio football? No, I care about one sport. Two sports on diversity. It's men's basketball and women's basketball. Shouts to Bob Bolden. Let's go.
Chris the Progressive, everyone, just talking shit wearing his OU stuff. I'm sure his wife made fun of him when he dug it out of his closet today.
Nah, she's out of the house today for the first time in a while. Due to you can guess why if you live in the world. And
she's allergic to Chris's bullshit and had a bad reaction.
No one's allergic to that, but it's just me and you here. Just wanted to for all the times you've broken my brain, thrown some shenanigans at me, called me Chuck. This feels deserved for you, to be honest.
Yeah, before we get started, shouts to friend of the program, Martin Rickman, sat behind me in the press box for the last two games. Texted us late last night saying that word on the street is y'all rock. And it was just his way of saying that we rock. And it made my night. I was just like, oh, that's nice. That's a nice text.
This is how I feel. But Martin, also, friend of the program, we're gonna leak this out a little bit. I hope Martin doesn't hear this and get mad at me. Friend of the program, Buca de Pepo ad spokesman himself, Bill DiFilippo, has some Kevin Love's words coming to Dime, so you might want to go read those when they come out, because I'm sure they'll be pretty good. Anyway, Evan,
is it an interview or is it just some
words? Just some words, I think.
Well, Bill gave this Cavs team 2 thumbs up and said this team's cool, and if Bill DiFilippo says this team is cool, all while yelling "state" every other sentence.
Evan, are you going to watch a Tottenham Man City game with Bill and I in a bar on All-Star Weekend at like 10:30 in the morning in Ohio City?
Sure. That sounds delightful.
Okay.
I have no idea what's going on, but I'll go there for the experience. I'll wear some San Antonio Spurs stuff and be like, oh, I think we had a miscommunication. If we ever had like a Simpsons themed party and I show up dressed as O.J. Simpson at the 2 gloves that don't fit, and I'm like, there seems to have been a miscommunication.
Oh boy. Okay, we've got an O.J. Simpson. I should have worn like an OU scarf to really.
I just realized we're on the wrong side of things. I'm not Chris Manning. I'm Evan Damerl. How's it going, folks?
Thanks, YouTube. Okay. Anyway, Evan, Cavs Grizzlies. Look, this game was awesome.
Yeah, it rolled.
I was I couldn't go for very health related reasons. Basically, I was very pissed that I wasn't at this game because it seemed fun. The arena seemed awesome. The Ja Darius stuff in person would be electric. I want the NBA. I know I did my math wrong on Twitter, but hey, that's whatever. And 2, I extremely just want the Grizzlies in the Eastern Conference. I just want that to happen. Let's go.
They'd probably be in the Central Division, and that'd be really unfair for the Central because I think.
Get rid of number one. Get rid of if you're going to do realignment. Let's cancel divisions. Divisions are a joke anyway. I hate divisions.
I don't know. I feel like you have to adopt an NFL type structure where there's 4 divisions per conference at that point, with 4 to 5 or 4 teams.
This is a locked in NBA question at some point, but
it's a thought exercise I've had for a while because if you look at a map and figuring out the logistics and placement and stuff, the Pacific Division, not the Pacific Division, the Northwest Division is a mess. Because OKC's in that division and they're in the South.
Oh yeah, none of them.
Like they should be a part of like just with the Texas teams and like New Orleans or something.
Yeah. The divisions are in the structure of like the stuff is all over the place, and it's like not the NFL where it's like you have teams in both conferences on both coasts. It's just like a whole thing. But I like want more
Alas.
Cavs Grizzlies. I want more of I want more of Ja versus Darius. I want more of these two really up and coming young teams to get to go at it. Like it, they're not going to play again this year, barring like they make the finals this year, which would odds are probably isn't going to happen. But like they played a big night, they played tonight, and like this game was really good. And
Mhm.
like it wasn't even the Cavs at full strength. It wasn't Memphis at full strength. Memphis was without Dylan Brooks and DeAnthony Melton and a bunch of other in slow mo Kyle Anderson. The Cavs didn't have Okoro, who would have helped in this game late. Jetty Osman would have helped in this game, I think. Like
Mhm.
neither of the teams exactly at full strength as we're navigating this COVID crisis. Crisis may be a strong word, but like COVID situation. And
I mean, it's a global panic at the disco. It hasn't changed in 2 years, and I don't see it changing anytime
but
soon. So,
Evan, I just want to set the stage for this before we do awards in the next segment. What to you
Mhm.
was the vibe in arena? Like what was the energy like?
Oh, the energy was really good. It was almost a sellout crowd, which is pretty remarkable for a Tuesday night game in January. I'm writing some words about this for Write Down Euclid right now, but I asked JB Bickerstaff about this post game, just like how awesome I guess it is that I hate the term small and big markets. Let's be frank, Cleveland and Memphis really aren't like destination markets for teams or for players, I should say, and teams in general. But like, I think if you look at the grand scope of things, the finals between the Bucks and the Suns last year, both non-glamour markets themselves, being so successful compared. I mean, yes, the Disney bubble can drag things out, made things a little tough, but like huge number spike compared to the Lakers and the Heat the year before. Like, I think it's really cool to see these small market team or sorry, non-glamour market teams thriving like this. And like there's a lot of homegrown talent. It's really cool. And like JB said, like this is a really good Grizzlies team. We're hoping to get there someday, but like the arena energy was really good. It had the feelings of like a playoffs game. And I think a lot of folks who were tuned into the game, either at home or in the arena, just the general consensus was like if this was like a best of 7 series between Memphis and Cleveland, this would be a really fun series.
I want it. Like I want them to play more times a year. I want them to like I just want more
Like
of
these are
like
the two up and coming teams.
yeah, I mean there are two of them. I don't want to say like they're exclusively the only one because
No,
that's
I
like
know. I'm focused in the grand scope right now. Like Memphis is, they're on their way there. Like they are loaded with talent 1 through 15. I mean, even Santi Aldama did some things last night. Like he
yeah.
led the Grizzlies in plus minus, and like I'm like that's not a real person. I looked him up. I'm like, oh, his name's actually Santiago. So the Cavs are almost there, but like they're both fun collections of talent, and the way they've gone about it is really cool.
Yeah, I mean I think that there's something that Cleveland can look at. I think depth is just something that Memphis has done a really good job of developing the last couple years, and we'll see how it sustains as like Jaren Jackson Jr.'s new contract kicks in, the Ja Morant looming, mega extension kicks in. Those are questions that they'll have to answer, and as they figure stuff out, and as guys' contracts expire and stuff. But like, that's a really good team. That is a team that is, I think, built in a way that Cleveland could learn some stuff from, certainly. I mean, also, like, we haven't even mentioned their names yet, but like Evan Mobley going against Jaren Jackson Jr. was tons of fun. Like, Jaren Jackson Jr. clearly was getting frustrated with dealing with Mobley because he was physically fouling him at several points. And like,
Hmm.
I love that kind of stuff in game because it just, you can tell that like when a game is like sort of just kind of going by and sort of just happening. And then you can tell when a game sort of has this really interesting, like competitive energy to it. And this is one of those games that had that really good competitive energy. And like, I just want more of it. I think this game was winnable for Cleveland. I don't want to talk about it much in a second. I think, but Ja definitely got called for traveling. And there were
Yeah, that
some
was gonna be
issues
my
there.
question. Did Ja travel in the closing moments?
Yeah, Ja
I think he
traveled, and I
did.
know that technically wasn't a challengeable play, but like that's just one of those moments where like you wish you could review that, and then
Well, that was that was a perfect example of a star non-call.
yeah, and then I just think like Cleveland having to have Brandon Goodwin, who played really well and notably was playing ahead of Kevin Pangos in this game as Darius's backup. Um,
It's
like
tough. That was a
Yeah,
tough
having
turnover. Like,
having
there's
him
no other way
defend
to say
Ja,
it,
and
dude.
Darius did, I think, a pretty good job of it actually throughout the game, like playing defense on Ja when he was defending him. But like his legs clearly looked exhausted by the time we got to the end of this game. Like the lift wasn't there, and like he first came back, it makes total sense to me. But
Well,
like
did you
having
do
good,
post game media?
I listened. Yeah,
Did you see Darius's legs?
yeah,
Yeah, I mean they're wrapped in ice when he came back, and he's
yeah.
just like, I'm
You could
tired.
just tell like on his jump shots that like the lift was not there. And I would be like that. This is where like again like Isaac Okoro like being able to like have energy to like chase Ja Morant around for a lot of this game would have just been like helpful for Cleveland as we're kind of
Yep.
navigating what they are. But Evan, let's go into a break. After the break, we'll give it our award that is MVP, stat of the night, and play of the night. I think you're telling everyone first up about our friends at TrueBill.
I sure am. Did you guys know that free trials are made without your consent? It's a business scam out to get you. Do not let greedy corporations pocket your money. Download Truebill today to take control of your subscriptions. Truebill is the new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions you don't need, want, or simply forgot about. On average, people save up to $720 a year with Truebill. Because companies make subscriptions hard to cancel, Truebill makes it incredibly simple. Just link your accounts and Truebill will cancel your unwanted subscriptions in one tap. And your TrueBill concierge is there when you need them to cancel unwanted subscriptions so you don't have to. TrueBill has over 2 million users and helped them save over $100 million. Like Matthew B., who says, in a matter of seconds, I saved $660 for the year on my DirecTV bill, saved $120 a year on my SiriusXM bill, and saved $840 a year on car insurance. Thanks, Matt. That's really cool. Do not fall for subscription scams. Start canceling today at truebill.com/LockedOnNBA. Go right now. Truebill.com/LockedOnNBA. It could save you literally thousands a year, like Maddie B. Truebill.com/LockedOnNBA.
Okay, Evan, let's give out awards. Let's start with MVP. I think for me, it's just that Darius Garland is back and is really good and is clearly very essential to this Cavs team. Hot take.
No, he's the most important player for the Cavs. I think he is arguably their MVP this season. You can make a case for Allen or Mobley, but like Garland really is the engine for this offense, really makes things different. You can tell this Cavs offense just pops a lot more. He's my MVP pick as well. If you had to come up with the second player, Kevin Love was really great off the bench for the Cavs, like he has been as of late. Jared Allen is solid. I mean, JB said it best. Like the Garland Allen tandem is going to be a force for years to come, just because
Yep.
like that pick and roll is just a bread and butter play for the Cavs. Like it just works for them, and I think having that on court chemistry just already be established and continue to thrive so much is great. But it's just those three. Evan Mobley played really well too, because this is a physical Memphis team, just like Indiana. And I think he responded really well early to some of the physical play like Jaren Jackson Jr. and Steven Adams are throwing at him. And
Yeah.
he looked pretty good.
Just no on Darius' stat line. 36 minutes in his first return, 20 in his first game back from the COVID protocols, 27 points, 10 assists, only one turnover, 4 rebounds, 6 of 6 from the free throw line, 3 of 10 from 3, 9 of 26 from the field. Certainly, I think the shot kind of went away from late as he kind of lost some of that juice, lost some of that energy as he was kind of leaning on. He was just, I think, quite good. And him and Joggin going at it, tons of fun. The 10 assists were clearly needed. No other player on. I mean, Ian Markkinen had 5 assists, but like no one aside from Markkinen, no one else had more than 3. You know, Mobley only had 1. Allen had 2. Lamar Stevens actually his credit had 3 as he started in place of Isaac Okoro.
Mm-hmm.
Goodwin had 3, including a nice lob down. But I think the Allen thing is worth noting because I think, you know, Allen, not that he played bad while Darius was out, but like you can just tell that like that is such a crux of what the Cavs can do to get easy buckets. And this is a team that needs to find ways to generate easy offense through kind of actions like that, I think, as much as it possibly can. Evan, that leads me to my play of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Which is Evan Mobley finishing with his left hand late in this game. Darius Garland feeds him inside with a little pocket pass, and Mobley finishes over the Memphis defense with his offhand. Just a small thing, a very kind of small little tidbit in this game, but like, boy, oh boy, Evan Mobley continuing to just show little offensive stuff is just, it's fun. It's very fun. And it just hit again, like him going to his offhand in that situation is just like one of those moments where you're like, oh, this guy's gonna like probably be pretty good on offense because he's already doing that offhand kind of stuff in the short roll in traffic.
Hot take, very hot take, my guy. My play of the night pick is probably that Larry Markkinen 3-pointer in the closing moments of the game because I thought the Cavs were kind of done. And it was just a smart read, a smart pass by Darius to get it to Lowry to, I believe, I'm trying to find the exact moment. It was 153 left in the fourth quarter. He pulled it back within 102 to 100. Larry Markkinen has not been making a lot of threes as of late. This is actually going to go hand in hand with my stat of the night as I do some mental math while Chris talks. But yeah, no, it's encouraging to see some of those shots go down from Marketing.
All right, so I think I'm in my stat of the night. Just the fact that Memphis, the number 12 isn't massive. I thought Serena Winters asked a real. By the way, Serena Winters, hopefully former Locked On Sixers host who's now with Bally doing the sideline reporting. Hopefully we'll get her on the show soon. But um, really good question to JB posting about like having the guards crash because Memphis is such a good offensive rebounding team. And then like one of the things that I think really hurt Cleveland in this game was their inability to kind of stop some of that Memphis offensive rebounding success. Memphis had 12 offensive rebounds on this one. That includes five from Steven Adams and two from Brandon Clark. And those two guys in particular just kind of giving Memphis kind of second chances. That compared Cleveland, had 14 in this game as well. So like not like they obviously like had more than Memphis. It just felt like Memphis's were more impactful on my first watch. And like I don't know if that's like accurate. I don't know if that's like would bear out like if we did like a statistical analysis. It just felt that way to me as I'm kind of watching this game. They felt kind of backbreaking as Memphis kind of took control of this game in the third and into the fourth. And that's just a thing that if you're going to be this team that plays, three bigs, I think that is something to like. Well, maybe we should. I haven't looked at this yet, and I don't really know why I haven't. But I would be curious to look at what percent, like how the Cavs rank in terms of giving of offensive rebounds, and like if I'm them, and I'm kind of going forward with this, even if I'm just going forward with Mobley and Allen, if we're being honest, I think that's got to be something you clean up. It's just kind of giving away one of your advantages if you're playing this big. So that to me was Memphis having 12 offensive rebounds, being one of the best offensive reboundings in the teams in the league, and doing that to Cleveland is tough for them.
No, it absolutely is. It really is tough. It's curious to see. My stat kind of points out like some of the cracks in playing three bigs right now. Larry Markkinen is 5 of 36 from 3-point range since Cleveland beat Milwaukee in mid-December, which is suboptimal. You have him out there for spacing purposes to put him alongside Mobley and Allen. I know they're trying to filter Mobley and Allen back into the rotation due to COVID and everything too, but Marketing just really hasn't been great from three for the Cavs, and it's just something I've just been quietly taking note of in my head because I'm like, you really need him out there for 3-point spacing, and then like you notice there's like a noticeable pop lately when Kevin Love checks in and Larry Marketing checks out because teams respect Kevin Love a lot more from 3-point range.
Kevin Love, I think on the aggregate has been better than Larry Markkinen this year. I don't think, and
Yeah.
I think like Markkinen does some stuff better. He's bigger for one, but like you
He
can
doesn't
post
play to
Kevin.
his size. He plays like a small forward at 7
You can,
feet.
yeah, well, you could post Kevin Love, and like the numbers for him bear out pretty well actually in terms of post ups. Like I was looking at this yesterday, his efficiency, the Cavs' efficiency on post ups for him is like close to what they were the last the 17-18 the 16-17 Cavs season, excuse me. Like it's pretty good. He obviously can make reads out of those post ups, and like Markkinen just like is bad at that. He's just bad at it, and like that's always been part of his game. We knew that when he came here. Like if you're Cleveland, if you didn't know, if you're the organization, you thought you could fix that. I think that's like a little ambitious. I'm not saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like posting him is like kind of, it's not good. Let's just say, and it's
No,
I think
he's
again, I
largely
think Kevin's been
ineffective
better.
when he tries to post up and play to his actual size. You just like watch it, you're like, Larry is not moving anybody.
No, he
And you're just like, and like Kevin Love can bang down low, which like Jared Allen said, he's been in the league for 25 years is pretty surprising at this point. But it's just that, and I think Seth Partnow pointed it out too, but like it really becomes clear that Cleveland's playing three bigs on the floor at the same time in transition opportunities
Yeah.
because not all three of them get back on defense, and it's Markkinen is the one who doesn't get back on defense, and it's tough. So I have to pose this question to you.
Mm-hmm.
Is this what you mean by Dean Wade is $15 million less than Larry Markkinen, and that's the only difference between them?
I don't think they're apples to apples, and when I've said that, that's not what I mean. What I mean is that I don't know if what you're getting from Dean Wade is $15 million worse than what you're getting from Lowry Marketing.
That's what I'm trying to get at too, is
Wade,
maybe you play
Wade,
Wade a bit more and Markkinen a bit less if this slump kind of continues, because Wade at least plays defense.
Wade, I think, is a more competitive defender. Marketing has been, I think, pretty good on defense for the most part, actually better than I would have thought. But I think he's obviously benefited from those two bigs behind him. Um, I just think it means I think and it's not so much like who I would play. I think it just means that if you were able to make a trade now to get someone that could help you, like if you could go get a wing that maybe fits you kind of cleanly here, and that cost you marketing, I wouldn't. And you just because you have Dean Wade on this like most still cheap like couple year contract, I think you'd honestly be fine. It's like I think it's
I don't
kind of like if
know.
you think,
I'm always a proponent of like the talent play upgrade,
yeah,
and the Cavs
yeah,
are a team that still need to add wing depth. It
yeah.
became very clear without Osman and Okoro out there, like this guest Cavs team's going to hurt on the perimeter at
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. I would have liked to honestly see RJ Nemhard just to get some reps in those minutes. Just Evan, on a note here, Cleveland is actually 15th in terms of the amount of misses in terms of misses, 25% of let's get this word jargon out of my mouth. So cleaning the glass has the offensive rebound percentage. So it tracks what percentage of opponents' misses did the opponent rebound. So the Cavs are giving up offensive rebounds on about 26% of their possessions. That is 15th in the league. So like about a league average. I frankly just think they gotta this is again a small thing. Gotta clean. I think you just gotta you should be one of the very best teams in the league if you're playing this big. That's just my take.
Yep.
If you're gonna play this size, you should just clean some of that up. But Evan, after the break, we'll get into some Dylan Windler because he got some minutes and I thought kind of made a case for himself to some degree. As we looking ahead here. But first, we got to tell everyone about our friends at Built Bar. Built Bar is the best tasting protein bar on the market. Look, it's the new year, so that means New Year's resolutions. And if yours is wanting to eat healthier, eat some better snacks, getting more fit, maybe you should include Built Bar in your plans. Built Bar protein bars are the best tasting protein bars. They're covered in 100% chocolate, 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 grams of net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. Compare that to a candy bar, which usually has around 240 calories, 30 grams of sugar, and dozens of net carbs. These also aren't chalky or waxy or just dry, gross protein bars that I know everyone out there has had. These are really good. Can't recommend them enough. Order some today. They have great flavors: cookies and cream, salted caramel, mint brownie, peanut butter brownie, and more. Go to built.com, use the promo code LOCK15 and get 15% off your order. Again, the promo code is LOCKed15 for 15% off at built.com. And I got to tell you about our friends at BetOnline, the official betting partner of the Locked On Podcast Network. BetOnline has you covered all season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. As football continues its march through the college bowl season and into the pro football playoffs, BetOnline remains the number one spot for all sports action this season. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. All you got to do is use the promo code Locked On to receive your bonus. From basketball to football to NHL to boxing and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Do not wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season and into 2022 now, obviously. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports, so don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available. BetOnline, that is where the game starts. Okay, Evan, so Dylan Windler, gotta say, statistically, you're not going to look at this and say, oh, he was really good. 19 minutes, 2 of 4, 2 of 3 from 3, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 6 minutes, had a turnover, had a foul. Gotta say, though, the most encouraging minutes.
Chris is really emotional talking about Dylan Windler, folks.
That's clearly what's happening here. This is as energetic and lively as I felt he was on the court. I thought there was a play in the second quarter, I think, where he was playing transition defense on Brandon Clark and shut it down and didn't do a take foul, which part of the reason why I'm latching onto this perhaps is that I hate take fouls. It is perhaps my least favorite thing about watching professional basketball is take fouls. I think they suck for how the game actually looks and is played and how we enjoy it. And Windler basically just got in Clark's way. With an assist from Lamar Stevens, who might have picked off the pass if Clark had been able to get it off as he's defending the other Grizzly coming down the floor. But just played good transition defense, was engaged, didn't look quite as like hesitant. And I'm going to ask you this, just as we kind of go forward here. Isaac's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. It probably feels telling that the first game he's out, Windler gets like 20 minutes. Osman's going to come back. That'll certainly, I think, throw or he only played 9 minutes, excuse me, but is getting him some minutes here. Oh, this ESPN box score is messed up, so maybe he played more than what I'm thinking here. But just in terms of how he played and how he
played 18 minutes 40 seconds last night.
So this ESPN box score, because I had my screen wrong, was wrong. I'm apologizing. But if you think about this, and Osman will be back, we would think soon. Rondo's going to come in this rotation. Goodwin, we would kind of assume, is probably going to, his 10-day will finish, and he'll au revoir, buddy. Good luck. But would you imagine that it's maybe worth another shot at Dylan Windler minutes here? Like, is that a crazy thing to say after this like game where he actually looked kind of okay?
No. I don't think it was crazy at all. Like you said, like if you looked at just the box score, if you didn't check out last night's game, you think, oh, Dylan Windler had another pretty mediocre night. He really wasn't looking to shoot the ball, if that makes sense. I think he was just looking to be involved and just make hustle plays for the team. Like Chris and I kind of have a vague understanding of how the Cavs analytically track their players. So they do track hustle stats in terms of how the players play on certain instances and things like that. And like Dylan really just played his buns off on both ends of the floor. And I think that's just kind of a good way for him to get consistent minutes in the rotation, even if Jetty does come back soon. Because I think he'll still play even with Isaac's, because Isaac's still out, and the Cavs are a team that just lacks perimeter depth. Like I think Lamar and I think Jetty will play, but I definitely think Dylan deserves some minutes as well. Because like you said, Brandon Goodwin's probably on his way out, especially with Rondo coming into the fold as well. But I think this is a good opportunity for him to kind of just get consistent minutes in this rotation going forward as well, because like you said, no take fouls because we are an anti-take fouls podcast, but Windler just played hard. Like you said, like he played hard on defense. Like there was just moments where I'm like, okay, Dylan Windler's just playing with a lot of energy. He's bringing a lot of hustle. Like he was 2 or 3 from 3. Like I think this is what you need to ask of him. Like 15 to possibly 20 minutes of their max tonight, a couple 3-pointers, some good defense, some rebounding, some assists, like just a little bit of everything. Like you're not going to get like peak level performance from him anymore. Like I'm not expecting him to be a consistent member of this rotation if this team is fully healthy, but if you're able to extract meaningful minutes from Dylan Windler during this time when you are so thin on the perimeter right now, that's a win. And the way Dylan played last night against Memphis is definitely setting things in motion to maybe say, okay, this kid deserves another look against Portland on Friday or against Los Angeles next week or everyone else who they play on this kind of gutty West Coast road trip. I am not looking forward to West Coast Cavs. I just realized I'm going to be up till like 2 a.m. watching them again.
Yeah, I guess we'll be watching those games in the morning. This guy.
Yeah. I'm covering the Cleveland Charge game on Friday. And then I'm going home and covering the game against the Blazers.
Oh, I will probably watch that one live, but I will probably, if it's on a weekday, like again, like
no, it's a Friday night, dog. I'm saying like it's gonna be nothing but basketball for me.
You take a nap, you'll be
but
fine.
no, what I could, but my sleep schedule's already messed up as is. I'm forever tired. But yeah, no, Windler played well. That's just long story short. Like he played really well. We don't really get to give him many shouts outs on this show. Usually it's just like the sad, like we don't really expect him to be a part of this rotation because he's oft injured. So for him to kind of come in, not really play at all, it was uncertain. Like Martin Rickman and I both like, is that Dylan Windler? Or did the Cavs sign a 10-day guy and slap number 9 on his back all of a sudden? Because in the arena they announced he was out for the game. So when he checked in, I was just like, okay, well, they were wrong on that one. So he's oft injured. He's always dealing with like last night he was questionable or probable, I should say, because of left knee soreness. I think again, like if you're able to extract meaningful minutes from Dylan Windler during this time, especially a guy who like was viewed as part of the plans maybe a year or two ago, and I think that ship has sailed. I think you just have to hope you can extract something from him. I just think that in itself is a win for the Cavs. And I just saw Chris changed his name to Winner on Restream to remind me of his Bob Kitties. So
was waiting until you noticed that, because we salute the Ohio Bobcats here on this podcast. But
Typical OU alum, can't be gracious in victory and humble in defeat.
That's
So
that's not anything anyone says about the Ohio University. Gotta say, that's an Ohio State thing. Those weirdos in Columbus. Anyway, this is the other thing about Windler that I think is worth considering. Let's say this team in 3 weeks is actually fully healthy. So we would go the starters would be Garland, Okoro, Markkinen, Mobley, Allen. Then you have Rondo, Osman, Jetty off the bench. Look, Kevin Love. That is 9 guys right
yeah,
there. Frankly, again, this is me just being like, let's just play dudes like, and Dean Wade you could throw in as like a 10th guy, but if you wanted to play another wing, if you wanted to just like keep things going a little bit, I would either play Lamar or I would play Dylan. And I think that is just to lessen the minutes on some of these guys, because it is just not going to be a thing where like if Marketing has to play 36 minutes tonight, I don't think that's helpful to them. If Jared Allen and Mobley played 38 minutes on Tuesday, Garland played 36, Love played 29. You got to get Kevin, I think, back down into that 20-25 range. I think that is healthier for him for the long term of the season.
yep.
Like I need to ask JB this, and I would like to ask Kevin this, but I just can't extrapolate like his good play this year away from the fact that he's playing fewer minutes. I think that is frankly just probably healthy for him and easier for him to manage than playing 30 a night. I think if we're looking at the season, like we're almost halfway. You could theoretically be in the playoffs, at the very least the play in. You're trying to compete and play into longer than you have. This is a marathon. This is not a just get to the end of the regular season. I think you got to play the long game here. And I think Dylan or Lamar, and maybe Dylan, just because you want to give him another chance to shoot the basketball and be healthy and be in a rhythm. I just think I want to see one of those guys actually be the 10th guy in their rotation, just for the fact of let's just like not play dudes like heavy minutes every single night in what is a brutal 82 game schedule. The 82 game schedule is so hard, and I don't think we acknowledge that enough.
No, we absolutely don't. And if you like held a gun to my head and asked me, I think Lamar would be the one who gets the nod
I
because
agree.
Lamar is
I
just the
agree.
most JB Bickerstaff like player,
And he's probably frankly he is probably better right now. I think he's probably a better. If I was going to say who's better, Lamar or Dylan, I think Lamar is a better basketball player right now.
yeah. And it's weird to say that because Lamar went undrafted and Dylan went in the first round for a reason. But if you could combine Dylan Windler's 3-point shooting acumen with Lamar Stevens, the player, you'd have a pretty perfect player. But
Notably, Lamar is shooting like 30. This isn't like good, but last year he shot 16% on 3-pointers. This year he's at 32.3 on double the value for whatever that is worth, and about the same amount of minutes per game. Just for whatever that's worth, his shooting is statistically better this year, and it's still below league average, and that's hard, but it is at least improved.
Go State. That's all I can say, man. Go State.
Yeah. Okay. Evan, any final thoughts from Cavs Grizz?
No, man. I think this is just a fun game overall. I wish we could have gotten more of it. Interested to see how acclimating Rondo and possibly Jetty back into the rotation goes because Kevin Love and Jared Allen have both made it clear like they really need those two in the fold just to kind of make things a little bit more normal. And Jared said, like, yes, we're missing Ricky and Colin for the year, but we can go back to playing our style of basketball if we add those two into the mix. So I'm interested to see. I would assume at this point that those two will probably be available Friday against Portland. I mean, Rondo was on the bench last night evaluating things. Apparently, he wasn't really talking to people. He was just quietly observing the team the whole time. So that's
Sounds right.
sounds right. He looked. Um, so we'll see how that goes. I'm interested to see how this just all works out. Hopefully for the best. But again, I still think this Cavs team is like maybe one more move away if they really want to put a couple chips on the table to say like, okay, let's make an actual playoff push and avoid the play in.
Yeah,
because the Rondo move is the first step. I feel like there's another big shoe that's about to drop. Not about the drop, but if they want to do it, like they have to make maybe a more of a scoring upside move. Because again, it's hard to replace what Colin and Ricky brought to this team, and Rondo ain't gonna do all that.
yeah. It's the way you phrase it means you had information that you were like saying. So I'm asking you.
Are you putting me on the spot right now?
Yeah.
I mean, Karis LeVert can be had for pretty much nothing.
Yeah,
Like
you wrote that the other day. Subscribe to
I
on
know.
the
I'm
Facebook
just
news.
Meta Bulletin, dude. You can shop at Walmart in the metaverse now.
I saw that, and that's no offense to your employer. That's terrifying to me.
It's interesting. So yeah, anyways, Karis LeVert could be had for practically nothing. I think if the Cavs want to make a move, it'd be a cold one. They'd have to include Rubio. Definitely
We
would be
didn't.
interesting how they walk that one back because like after he got injured, like everyone on the team made it clear they want Ricky around long term. But I'm just like, but his salary really, really, really just lines up well for what Indiana's looking for. So
It's true.
I don't know.
Yeah, that is true. We should just know Colin Sexton was back in Cleveland for the first time since his injury. We didn't even talk about this. It's not a whole lot to say, but he was
I mean,
walking with the
it's
assistance of
nothing
a.
new that the Cavs lost while Colin Sexton was in Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. So
Okay. This is Evan why you get yourself in trouble. Just so we're clear.
I
This is
mean,
how you get yourself.
everyone made it 36 minutes to hear me say it, so it's good for them if they stuck around.
If you're on YouTube, please look. Just
Cheers.
everyone be well. We'll be back. Rajon Rondo is speaking to the media on Wednesday after we record, so perhaps we'll talk about that. We have a crossover show with
Wait, he is for sure.
I believe we got an email about this, Evan, unless I'm hallucinating things. Check your email, buddy.
I got email about media availability.
Pretty sure Rajon Rondo's name was in that email because I read it.
I didn't read that part. I just saw it and said what time it was and put it in my calendar.
Classic Evan.
Anyways.
Classic Akron alum, not doing the reading. Everyone be well. We'll talk to you tomorrow.